very important skill that you're going to need throughout your high school career is how to create bibliographies. So I'm going to show you how that's done in Word. In class, we'll discuss why we do bibliographies, to avoid plagiarism, to say where you're getting information from. But I'd like to concentrate on the nitty-gritty of how you actually do it. So I've got some reference materials here. So these are 5 websites that you can use. And you're going to use this document, the Word Warrior 2 document, which you're going to click open. And to get to the referencing tabs of everything that you need, you're going to have to click Edit and Open in Desktop so that you can use the full functionality of Word. So, trouble connecting. Hope that sorts itself out. I might have to create a new document. That was unfortunate. But anyway, so let's say, here you go. You're writing your essay, and your essay is here, and you're saying something that will require citation. Citation is where you're writing in the text, and in the text you say where you got that idea from. So if I say Adolf Hitler became Chancellor of Germany in 1933 or 34, I can never remember. Anyway, that's a fact. It's a common fact. You can find it in any encyclopedia. You can Google it online. You don't need to cite that. You don't need to say that you got that idea from somewhere. It's so common that it's just a fact. It's like the capital of France is Paris. You wouldn't have to say that you got that from Wikipedia. If you're saying that a cheetah runs at 110 kilometers per hour, you wouldn't have to say that you got that from Encyclopedia Britannica. It's kind of like a fact which everyone accepts. It's really about interpretations and opinions where you are citing some expert. Some expert has said something that you can't just get in an ordinary encyclopedia or anything like that. So let's say I read an historian called Taylor, and Taylor argues that Hitler's rise to power was driven by economic factors. Oh, okay. Well, this is kind of like an interpretation, an opinion that's being given by this particular historian. This is the kind of thing that I should be citing. So to do that, you use the Harvard method. So the Harvard method is, after what you've cited, you put in brackets, you put the name of the author that you're citing, and you put comma, the date, and then you close your brackets. Or if you've already mentioned his name, I would go in here and I would just put brackets, and he wrote that opinion in his document which came out in 2019. So Taylor, in his 2019 article, argues that Hitler's rise to power was driven by economic factors. And then you might be saying, well, there are other factors, etc. Okay? Do you kind of get the idea? You are citing because this is someone's opinion that you're quoting. You're not quoting exact words. You are referencing, citing his interpretation of it. The other way of doing it is, I could say, some argue that Hitler's rise to power was driven by economic factors. And then I could say that comes from Taylor, comma, 2019. So how do we do all of that? Well, in order to set up a reference, we need to be able to create references. And that's done on the References tab. So you've got File, Home, Insert, Draw, Design, Layout, References. And under References, you'll notice you've got Insert Citation. So you would click on Insert Citation to create a citation. Now, let's just go back a little bit. And I just need to go back and, tell you what, let me create a new tab and pull that across. Under Teams, you were given, and I can't access that there now without going out of it. Oh, I can. So I'm going to go in here, 2 assignments. I probably messed up my document totally. And under Word Warrior 2, under Student View, you'll notice there were links to websites. So what we're asking you to do is to open some of these links. I'll just drag that across there. And we're going to draw information from these websites to put into our referencing. So here's the reference. And remember that ours is all about women in computing. So I'm going to leave that blank. And I'm going to insert a citation. It doesn't actually put anything in the text at the moment, but it creates it. And then when you click bibliography, it creates the whole bibliography. So I'm going to add a new source, and it's a web page. So we're going to do all websites for the moment. And then basically you fill this in. So we're going to go back to our browser and see, okay, well, where is the author? So it says Copyright Association for Women in Computing. That seems to be the only author listed. I can't see an individual. So sometimes you can see that an individual has written something, but sometimes it's a corporate author. So I'm going to, corporate means a body, like an organization. So obviously this Association for Women in Computing, they put together this web page. We don't know who actually authored it, but really it was written by the association. So I've just gone Control-C to copy that. I open up my Word document. I'm going to put a corporate author, because I don't have an individual name, Association for Women in Computing. Now I need the name of the web page. So I go back into the web page and I look for the name of the web page. Well, it's on their home page. Let's say I wanted to find out about President's Message. Okay, and here you can see Jill Sweeney. So she wrote this particular message. But let's say we want to find out who was given the Lovelace Awards or whatever it is. So the page is called Association for Women in Computing Lovelace Awards. So I would go back in here and I would put that in. That's really the name of the page. It's quite tricky to know what the name of the page is or name of the site. Very often you can see the name of the site. AWC obviously stands for Association for Women in Computing. So my guess is that the website itself, and if you click on the home page, it's called the Association for Women in Computing. So that's the name of the site. So I would go back into here and under name of website, I would type that in. The year. Okay, let me see if there's a year here. Copyright 2011. So that's easy. I put in 2011. And if there's a month, a day, a year, etc., you can put that in. Otherwise, the only other thing you need is that URL at the top here. Universal Resource Locator. In other words, the address of the website. Again, you select it and you go Control-C to copy. You go back in here and you get Control-Paste. If you click Show All Bibliography Fields, you've got some quite important ones here, and that is year accessed, month accessed, and day accessed. And it's quite important when you're writing an academic essay that sometimes websites disappear, and that's fine. You read it when it was there, so you need to say when you read the website. 2022, the month is January, and the day is the 27th. And when I click OK, you'll notice it pops in the author, comma, and the date as my citation. So if I'm saying, according to the AWC, the number of women in computing has been falling since 1984, let's say. And that I get from the Association for Women in Computing. Not just a fact, it's a little more than a fact. It's been falling. You know, they compiled the data, so I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt there, saying that they are the author of that idea. And then you would continue writing your essay. And you'll notice you put that data in. Let's look at one more, just to make it a little bit easier. Here, for example, this History of Women in IT, 6 Female Pioneers. So let's try and get the information off of this one. So the easy one actually is the URL. So I often just go Control-A to select that whole URL, Control-C to copy it, and I go into my citation. I click Insert Citation, Add New Source. It's a website. And I just go and put the URL in. So that's out of the way. Now back into the website. Okay, so who's the author? Well, it says here, I've got a date, 2018, April the 19th. And very often the author is either at the top or at the bottom. And it says here about the author, Purdue University Global. Okay, let me copy that. There, again, I think we're looking at a corporate author. Very often websites have corporate authors rather than individual ones. So I just paste the name in there. And remember that the year was 2018. And I've forgotten the exact date. April the 19th. And if you have that information that it's April the 19th, then you should put that in. And now I just need to find the name of the web page and the name of the website. So if you remember the name of the website, it's kind of normally at the top, or if you click on the home page. So I reckon it's Purdue University Global. It's their website. So I'm going to put that down them. And very often the corporate author is the same. It's the website basically that is authoring. So I'm going to put Purdue University Global. And the name of the web page, the particular page I'm looking at, seems to be, this History of Women in IT, 6 Female Pioneers. That seems to be the title of the page. And here we go. If you look in the URL, History, Women, Information Technology, 6 Female, it seems to be that is like the title of the page. So I'm going to put in that. If I go show more, I can go in and put the date that I accessed it. So I watched it, I got to the page, on 2022, January the 27th. So if anyone goes and looks at my link and they can't follow it, they know that the page was there on that date. You click OK, and again, it's put in the author, Purdue University Global, 2018. And I can add that to my essay. So I've added 2. You need to add 3. And then when you're ready to create the bibliography, you just click on, you go to next to Insert Citation is Bibliography. And you just click that, and you click one of the styles, and there's your bibliography. And it includes all the details of both websites that you collected on in the correct format. Not just the URL, but with all the details that you collected. And your citations in the text are accurate. The author, even if it's only a corporate author, and then 2018. So I hope that this makes sense, and I hope this enables you to create fantastic bibliographies. If I were your teacher and I see that bibliography, I can see that you've done everything correctly. You've collected as much information as you could. By the way, what happens if you can't? If you really can't find the name of the web page, or there's no date? There's absolutely no date on the web page. Well, let's do one. We go Insert Citation and add a new source. If there's no date here, you can just put no date. And then you'll notice it'll come up with the author and it'll say no date. And I reckon that's good enough. Have fun with this and upload it as Word Warrior 2.